But I've got to go back to where we were last week, because there's another example of somebody who is talking about the lunches policy, and this one's going to be fun. In Australia, there is a substantial difference between a small business and a big business. It can be defined by the number of employees you have or the turnover that you have. According to the Bureau of Statistics, they define small business as people who have fewer than 19 employees. By the way, about 67%, I think it is, of small businesses are sole traders. But small business makes up 97% of all businesses in Australia. As you know, the decision of the Liberal Party is to say that up to $20,000 that a small business, including a sole trader, would be able not to have to pay fringe benefits tax on taking a key client out to lunch. It's not about buying tickets to the opera or Oasis or getting a box and taking people to Bathurst. It is about trying to do two things. One, stimulate the cafe and restaurant industry, which we've shown you many times is on its knees, because local people who might, say, be the pool cleaner or the hairdresser or the person doing the lawns might be able to take some of their key clients out for a sandwich or a schnitzel. Of course, remember, when it comes to this policy, it's pegged at $20,000, but the number of sole traders or very small businesses that would have $20,000 to spend on such things is, of course, virtually non-existent. And I've spent some time talking about how the Labor Party is trying to make this out like it's a dollop of taxpayers' money for monocle-wearing, top-hat-wearing, cigar-smoking bosses to rip off their workers. 97% of all business in Australia are not those people. And you know how much I am fond of the cigar. As bad as it is for my health, don't do it, don't start. But perhaps that's why I focus in on this bloke. But that's the caricature that they are trying to paint in and around this policy. Well, step in Anika Wells. Now, Anika Wells is the sports minister. She's also the aged care minister. And didn't she think she was oh so special today, prancing around in question time? Here she was trying to make it out like your average local hairdresser was going to use taxpayer funds to go off to the Superbowl.
According to the Coalition's publicly defined parameters of their own policy, business could spend up to $20,000 of Elizabeth's own taxpayer funds to attend something like, for example, the Superbowl, to lather themselves in buffalo wings and baby back ribs nodding along to Kendrick Lamar.
Please, please. Now, I know all of this is just about impressing all the people behind her or all of the people up in the press gallery, which is every time they look up, that's who they're trying to talk to, or the people in the public gallery because they've got a mate up there. Oh, look at how I shoved it into the libs. All right, Anika, let's have a chat about who's got the pretty life when it comes to sporting events. The average small business and small business owner makes $75,000 a year. You make $403,063 from the taxpayer. You were accused of bending the travel rules so you could pretend to have business in a place like Melbourne, but it just happened to be at the same time as the Melbourne Cup. Remember the photos that we have and have discussed in the past as you're mucking around in the birdcage? Something that she did at last year's Melbourne Cup as well. And if she wants to talk about people who like going to sporting events at somebody else's expenses, have a look at this. Now, yes, she's the sports minister, and she's going to tell you that being the sports minister means she can do all of these things. She went to the cricket a lot this year, over summer. She went to the PGA Championship last year, the NRL, the AFL, the Brownlow, the Live, the Formula One on a couple of days. She's often got tickets to bring people with her, or in some cases as many as 5 people with her. The Sail GP, tickets to Taylor Swift, because that's part of the job. Lots of other ones with cricket and A-League. And she was a guest of the Treasury Wine Estates at the Melbourne Cup last year. The Women's World Cup, where she, along with other Labor MPs, attended the Labor Party conference in Brisbane, flew down to Sydney for a game before flying back, all on taxpayer expense. So the height of her to walk into Parliament today and pretend that a tax policy that would mean small business will be applying the same tax standards as big business, i.e. 97% of the country's businesses would not be charged fringe benefit tax for entertaining key clients. How many businesses would she have any idea have got $20,000 lying around to fly to the Superbowl next year in San Francisco? 4/5 bugger all. The average person who owns a small business, Minister, barely pays themselves. And even when they do pay themselves, you earn how much more? Oh, that's right, that much more. And you've received not one but 3 pay rises in this term of Parliament. Now, Anika Wells does consider herself to be a potential rising Labor star, and God forbid you criticise her on social media. I've got quite a few people who live in her electorate who send me emails about how easily her team block constituents from social media. Well, she's not going to be able to block this video because, of course, her government wasn't able to censor the internet last year. So spread this around her electorate of Lily, that the lady on $400,000 is yet again sneering at every small business that she will pretend to be on the side of between now and the next election. She will claim that these small businesses are so flush with cash that if they want to, they could go to the Superbowl, when they barely have enough cash to go to the pub to watch it on television.